The British monarchy has endured its share of tragedy and loss over the years. Some of the most heartbreaking royal passings have left an indelible mark, from assassinations to accidental deaths. Join us as we revisit the most devastating losses of the British monarchy. The death of Prince John. Prince John, the youngest child of King George V and Queen Mary, lived a tragic life defined by illness, separation from his family, and an early death. Born in 1905, Prince John suffered from epilepsy, a condition poorly understood at the time and often erroneously linked to mental deficiencies. Prince John demonstrated no signs of health problems for the first 4 years of his childhood. Contemporary accounts describe him as a bright, mischievous boy who played pranks on his siblings and once cheekily called his father an ugly old man. But at age 4, he experienced his first epileptic seizure, likely due to a form of autism that impairs communication skills. As was common then, physicians incorrectly blamed bad parenting for the prince's feeble-mindedness and recommended removing him from family life. In 1917, John was sent to live full-time at Wood Farm on the Sandringham estate under the care of his governess, Lala Bill. He would never live at a royal residence again. His medical condition was hidden from the public, which knew little of the princeling's existence. At Wood Farm, Prince John found sanctuary in gardening, photography, and spending time with his governess. King George and Queen Mary visited often, as did his siblings, indicating the royal family still loved him deeply. Still, his seizures continued and health deteriorated. On January 18, 1919, Prince John suffered a severe seizure and passed away in his sleep at just 13 years old. The death of George, Duke of Kent, in 1942. The shocking death of Prince George, Duke of Kent, in a 1942 plane crash during World War II shook the British monarchy and took the life of a popular young royal. George was the fourth son of King George V and Queen Mary. His sudden demise at age 39 under mysterious circumstances has spawned conspiracy theories that continue to swirl 8 decades later. In August of 1942, George was traveling to Iceland on a secret war mission as an air commodore when his plane crashed in Caithness, Scotland, soon after taking off. It killed the Duke of Kent and all others on board except one. It occurred in poor visibility, and the plane was found to have strayed off course, leading to speculation of sabotage. A handsome, gregarious royal with a dramatic personal life, George fascinated the public. Before his marriage, he was said to have affairs with men and women, including famed playwright Noel Coward. During World War II, he threw himself into active service, including dangerous travel to enhance morale. But his high profile made him vulnerable. Just days before his death, another British royal, Lord Mountbatten, narrowly escaped a suspected assassination plot. The death of King George VI, 1952. On February 6, 1952, King George VI died unexpectedly in his sleep at age 56, shocking Britain and the world. The beloved monarch passed away at Sandringham House in Norfolk from coronary thrombosis, a blood clot that fatally stopped his heart. His tragic death marked the premature end of a reign defined by steadfast leadership during World War II and the transition to a post-war world. George VI never intended to become king. As the second son of George V, he assumed his older brother Edward would inherit the throne. But when Edward VIII abdicated in 1936 to marry American socialite Wallis Simpson, the crown was thrust upon the shy, nervous Duke of York. Though initially unsure of his abilities, George VI rose to the occasion during World War II. He provided a calm, inspiring presence through the blitz and hard years that followed. The king and queen endeared themselves to the public through their refusal to flee London during the bombings and visits to bombing sites. In secret, George struggled with health issues made worse by heavy smoking and stress. In 1951, he was diagnosed with lung cancer and arteriosclerosis, which greatly impacted his ability to perform public duties. Nevertheless, he soldiered on out of a strong sense of royal duty. In early February of 1952, he appeared to be in good spirits during a visit to Sandringham House. There was no indication his life was in danger. On the night of February 5th, he retired to bed apparently healthy, but he didn't wake up the next morning. The nation was stunned. The sudden passing of George VI meant his eldest daughter Elizabeth would immediately ascend the throne. At just 25 years old, she was on a tour of the Commonwealth in Kenya when word came of her father's death. Her husband, Prince Philip, broke the news to the Queen. The death of Prince William, 1972. On August 28, 1972, tragedy struck the British royal family when Prince William of Gloucester was killed at an air race crash at the young age of 30. He was the elder son of the Duke and Duchess of Gloucester, as well as the cousin of Queen Elizabeth II. At the time, he was ninth in the line of succession to the British throne. An experienced pilot with over 700 hours of flight time, Prince William had developed a passion for flying as a student in the 60s. Quote, "Flying is my great relaxation," he once said. On that fateful August day, Prince William was competing in the Goodyear International Air Trophy race at Halfpenny Green Airfield near Wolverhampton. He was flying a Piper Cherokee Arrow, a small single-engine plane. Shortly after takeoff, witnesses said the plane banked sharply to avoid a house near the end of the runway. It plowed through treetops, crashed into a grassy bank, and exploded into flames. Both Prince William and his co-pilot were killed instantly. His tragic death shocked the British public, who were accustomed to seeing the royal family untouched by tragedy. He became the first senior royal to die in an air crash since his uncle Prince George. The assassination of Lord Mountbatten, 1979. One of the most shocking assassinations to rock the British monarchy in modern times was the murder of Lord Louis Mountbatten by the IRA in 1979. On August 27th, Mountbatten was vacationing at his summer home, Classiebawn Castle, on the coast of County Sligo in Ireland. This was a trip the 79-year-old Mountbatten took every year with his family. On that fateful morning, several members of the family went out on a small boat near the castle to go salmon fishing. Tragically, this daily fishing expedition had provided the IRA with an opportunity. Underneath the boat, the IRA had secretly planted a radio-controlled bomb containing 50 pounds of explosives. As the boat was underway, the killers detonated the bomb by remote control. The massive blast killed Mountbatten instantly, along with his 14-year-old grandson, Nicholas Knatchbull, and 15-year-old crew member Paul Maxwell. Several other family members on the boat, including Mountbatten's daughter and son-in-law, were grievously wounded but survived. The calculated assassination sent shockwaves of grief and outrage throughout Britain. The IRA quickly claimed responsibility, calling Mountbatten's murder an execution and stating he was a legitimate target as a symbol of British imperialism and oppression of Ireland. For Prince Charles, the death of his great-uncle, whom he described as the grandfather he never had, was a profound personal tragedy. In his diary, a devastated Charles wrote of his agony, disbelief, and determination after learning of the murder. The prince later bravely visited the scene of the assassination to reconcile with the local community. Diana, Princess of Wales. In the early morning hours of August 31st, 1997, Diana, Princess of Wales, was killed in a devastating car accident in Paris. She was traveling by car with her partner Dodi Fayed and driver Henri Paul, fleeing paparazzi at high speeds. Their Mercedes entered the Pont de l'Alma tunnel, collided head-on with a pillar, and spun out of control. The three were killed instantly. The sole survivor was her bodyguard, Trevor Rees-Jones, who suffered serious injuries. The crash was ultimately blamed on Henri Paul, who was intoxicated and driving over 100 miles per hour to elude photographers tailing the car. Blood tests later showed he was drunk behind the wheel. The shocking death of the iconic People's Princess at age 36 caused an unprecedented global outpouring of grief. Now it's time to hear from you. Do you remember where you were when Princess Diana died? Let us know in the comments section below.